Is my mic working? Oh, Lord have mercy. Y'all, I don't know if my mic was working.
Yeah, I have the desktop pulled up. I mean, my computer, my desktop, and so I can hear you fine on Clubhouse. However, on the desktop, I don't.
Yeah, I just see. You're right. Thank you, sis. I got it. I think I got it. It's working now. I'm looking at it. Oh Lord, I've been talking for a whole 5 minutes and YouTube is not recording. It's one of those days. It's one of those days. I didn't eat lunch, so I'm looking at my lunch. It's looking at me. And we looking at each other.
That is hilarious.
So yeah, I have bills, and we're gonna dive into some reparations information. But before we do, at the top of the week, I try to bring you guys hearings. Of course, yesterday, the whistleblower was in Washington. I actually caught some of that on C-SPAN last night. And yeah, they were going in on Facebook. They were actually going in on Facebook, and they got a lot to be held accountable for. So Facebook, y'all, Instagram, they are truly under attack, and they should be, and there needs to be regulations around these social media platforms. But let's get into the hearing. So this was a hearing, the SBA Entrepreneurial Development Programs. This is the House Small Business Committee. This hearing is tomorrow on the 6th, Wednesday the 6th at 10 o'clock a.m. For those of you who are entrepreneurs and you want to see what's coming down the pike, the SBA, the Entrepreneurial Development Programs House Committee hearing is tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Another one tomorrow at noon, 12 p.m. Eastern, is the House Energy and Commerce Committee. House Energy and Commerce Committee. This is strengthening our communications network to meet the needs of consumers. So strengthening our communication networks to meet the needs of consumers, y'all. We're in this Internet of Things kind of generation. Makes me a bit nervous where, we were all talking about 5G. I'm seeing stuff about 10G, so this thing is ramping up, and information and communications, and yeah, let's pay attention, y'all. This technology, I think I was having a conversation with someone earlier, and I think we as humans need to draw the line in the sand, literally say this is where technology stops. And we need to really be intentional, because I see the articles about the patents and the transhumanism and all the things that they envision for us that I don't envision for myself. I'm not sure how you feel, but I don't envision me being part of nobody's network, plugging me in, not. So yeah, let's make sure we pay attention to what's happening with technology, and be intentional about where we draw the line. Be intentional about where we draw the line. This is the House Education and Labor Committee. House Education and Labor Committee. Noon tomorrow on 10/6, noon tomorrow. This is the homecoming, the historical roots and continued contributions of HBCUs. It's the call it homecoming, the historical roots and continued contributions of HBCUs. So yeah, let's pay attention, y'all. There was some monies that should have been allocated to our HBCUs, and in this infrastructure bill, I heard and saw where they're taking it out. So we need to be mindful of what's happening with our HBCUs and the monies that they should be getting that they're not. So this is the House Education and Labor Committee tomorrow at noon on Wednesday, October 6th. This is the Senate Judiciary Committee. The Senate Judiciary Committee at 2 p.m. tomorrow. The hearings to examine the John R. Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. Hearings to examine the John R. Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. For those of us who are following voting rights legislation, I had a conversation. Yeah, I talk all day, all the time. Some days, it was one of these days today, and this is we're talking about voting rights, and that's not our fight today. I was having a conversation with someone in Middle Georgia, and they were talking about this generation of people that are in the 60s and 70s. Their concern is voting rights and Social Security. Yeah, they're concerned about themselves, but what about their children? This was my answer to the person that I was talking to. I said, well, what about their children? their children's children. There's children's children. What about these generations that won't have Social Security? The generations that won't work on a job that will ever get a pension. I'm worried about my children. This next generation, they lost. They trying to figure it out. So, when they're talking about voting, I said, I don't know very many Black people that don't have an ID and want to vote. I said, voting, this whole conversation around voting is really, it's immigration. Let's just be real. It ain't about Black people. It's about brown people. So that person, he heard me, which was good, because the person that I was talking to was going to have a conversation with the person I was talking about. So that person that I was talking to heard me loud and clear, and they made it clear to me that they was going to have a conversation with the person that I was talking about, because these people are in influential positions to really help us in this race to the United States Senate, but just help us and help us, not help themselves. So you can't be 60, 70 years old worrying about you. You got to be worrying about your children and your grandchildren and your great grandchildren. So I'm gonna get off my soapbox, y'all. It just kind of bothered me today. Some of the conversations that I have. It's bad enough, hell, that we have to fight white America, but damn it, I got to fight Black America too. Good Lord, it gets exhausting. It gets exhausting. Yeah, we're here, y'all. We're here. What is this thing saying? Facebook is having a problem streaming our broadcast, but it's fine. We're on YouTube. We'll have to go back and share it. So moving into the next, this is a hearing to review the state of the livestock industry. I see our brother from Kentucky is on the stage. This is a hearing to review the state.
Yes. I just had to say it. I'm sorry.
The state of the livestock industry. He was talking about just yesterday skinning. What was you gonna skin? Not a cow. Was it a cow? Skin a deer. Jesus, take the wheel. Take the wheel. I'm scared that thing gonna bleed. I'm gonna be freaking out. But here, this is a hearing. The Agriculture House Committee. It was rescheduled. It's rescheduled for 10/7, which is on Thursday at noon. If you want to find out what's happening with agriculture here in this country. All right, let's see where we are. Okay, I'm gonna pass the collection plate, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all, we getting closer and closer every day. We got 7 months. We so close. This is a pregnancy. We pregnant with something, y'all. We pregnant with reparations, y'all. We 2 months pregnant, y'all. In 9 months, 7 months from now, we gonna know whether or not we gonna take this thing to Washington. So if you are listening in this room, hit the Cash App, y'all. Hit the Cash App, $5, $10, whatever. Do what you can. Do what your heart has led you to do. We gotta raise this money, y'all. Media, we gotta pay for it. I don't care how we get around doing everything else. We gonna have to pay for some media. It's no way around it. This message has to be heard, and media and mailers, which is the biggest part of this campaign. So I'm passing the collection plate, y'all. Hit that Cash App. Go to the website, tamaraforgeorgia.com. But I had to dive into reparations information. So here's an article. It says the case for reparations, painful personal family story. So here's an article I found. This is it says participants shared details of harrowing incidents that happened in California and across the country. It says their stories will help the panel. And this is the California task force, y'all, the reparations task force that they're talking about. It says the harrowing incidents that happened in California and across the country. It says their stories will help the panel determine what compensation should be for descendants of enslaved people in the United States who provided free labor for nearly 250 years and survived discrimination, lynching, racial violence, and Jim Crow laws for more than a century after that. It says the 9-member panel listened to close to 5 hours of emotional testimony. For those of you who missed it, y'all, this was the California task force. They had hearings about a week ago. It says they listened to close to 5 hours of emotional testimony presented by slave trade experts, academic scholars, historians, and members of the Black community. This is a quote from Shirley Weber. She says, the pain is real. She says the pain is real, and it is. It was hard, and it was hard to hear that, and it got emotional because we all have these stories in our family that leads us, most of us, those of us who are descendants of chattel slavery in this country. We have stories that when we hear it like, I don't even watch slave movies because I'm already radical enough, y'all. I don't watch. I try not to do anything that gets me to a place where I'm angrier than I already am, because I don't like that angry black woman thing that they try to pin on us. But this pain is real. It literally lives in our DNA. So this is Shirley Weber, and she says the pain is real. It says Weber providing a broad understanding of why she penned AB 31 and discussed how her family was forced out of Arkansas and fled to Southern California after her father attempted to organize union rights for sharecroppers. Goes on to say historian document a series of those massacres that occurred from April to November of 1919 as Red Summer, when a wave of anti-Black riots and lynchings took place after World War I. It says the word red symbolizes the color of the fires that engulfed burning Black churches. So yeah, America is going to reckon with what they've done to us, because I'm telling you, this generation of us, we are not playing. We are not playing. So here's another article. It says, moving to right historical wrong. It says Governor Newsom signs the legislation to return Bruce's Beach to Black descendants. Y'all, I am so excited. I am. When I saw that he had done that, that he did the right thing, I was very, it was exciting. And it was, at the same time, it hurt still, because this is generations of lost generational wealth. This is wealth that this family did not and we're not able to accumulate. And I'm just wondering, I haven't seen, and y'all can correct me and tell me, bring me up to speed. Is the state of California going to actually compensate these people? Like, will there be some monies? Because, they got this property back, but now what do they do with it? How do they build on it? And I believe the state of California should definitely undergird that. So here it is, moving to right historical wrongs. Governor Newsom signs the legislation to return Bruce's Beach to Black descendants. Again, y'all, I told y'all I just kept going down the reparations rabbit hole. This is an article. It's a commentary. It says, in Baltimore, reparations can start with COVID relief funds. These COVID monies, y'all, obviously Biden didn't specifically designate what these funds would be used for. So these COVID monies, I saw somebody was at Alabama. The governor over there is going to build prisons with their COVID money. So this was a suggestion that they take the COVID money and start some sort of reparations in Baltimore. I thought it was interesting. This is a commentary. He says, my suggestion for using the available funds is to skip over affluent neighborhoods like the one where I live. We're doing fine. And areas designed to attract tourists. He says, instead, plow the money into the city's underserved Black neighborhoods, rebuild and renovate as many of the 16,000 plus vacant buildings in those areas as possible.
These people think we're crazy, don't they, Tamara?
They think we nuts. Train people in the communities to do the work so they can earn good wages while they participate in rebuilding their neighborhoods. Then sell the homes to legacy residents at prices they can afford, so we don't have to repeat the cycle of gentrification and relocation, which harms rather than helps the people living where the improvements are being made. So yeah, that's his answer to taking the COVID funds and putting it in our communities, making us work and do all the work and rebuild our communities and then sell us our own houses so we can afford to stay in our own neighborhoods. Jesus, take the wheel, Jesus. Reparations in Baltimore, y'all. I went down the rabbit hole. This is an article that I found. I believe she's out of New York. Mayor Lovely Warren's reparations. Here she calls it Reparations and Universal Basic Income Committee. They got a reparations and universal basic income committee. They're going to host a virtual community forum on a proposed guaranteed basic income pilot. It was this past Saturday on the 2nd, and then it's tomorrow on the 6th, y'all. A combination of reparations and universal basic income committee. I don't know what the hell that is, but okay. It says the concept A reparations and universal basic income provide an excellent and exciting opportunity to help families overcome poverty and create a more just and equitable Rochester. Yeah, this is New York. This is Mayor Warren, Black woman, y'all. I think she Black, y'all. Says we're exhausting every possible approach to improve outcomes for our families, even if that means investing in them through a regular basic living stipend. I encourage the community's participation in this community conversation on a potential guaranteed basic income program for Rochester. It says the UBI subcommittee will discuss the differences between universal basic income and guaranteed basic income, as well as present a working proposal for Rochester residents. It says the public is encouraged to offer its input and share any feedback. So they want to provide reparations with universal basic income. I swear these mayors are getting more and more creative. It scares the hell out of me because we got to watch these mayors. We are clear that reparations is not anything that could be done on a municipal level or on a state level. So I don't know what they're doing. I don't know. None of this don't make sense to me, but okay. Reparations rabbit hole. So here's another one. Decisions on reparations for Tulsa Race Massacre survivors, y'all. They went to court. Y'all, just the other day. It says a decision that could bring survivors and descendants of the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre justice is now in a judge's hands, y'all. This is 100 years later. 100 years later, we in court about what happened in 1921. I just want to scream, y'all. I just want to scream. It says on Tuesdays, lawyers argued over whether a lawsuit that will hold agencies like Tulsa County and the city of Tulsa should be held accountable for the destruction caused by the massacre. It says the lawyers have accused the city of Tulsa and other defendants of causing public nuisances. Let me bring y'all to the stage. I see you, Waukesha. Antonio, you're welcome up to the stage. It says the lawyers have accused the city of Tulsa and other defendants of causing a public nuisance by failing to make reparations for the massacre, leading to subsequent litigation against the city for denying access to important historical documents relating to the massacre in violation of the Oklahoma Open Records Act. So y'all, they fighting this battle from 1921 today in court in Tulsa. So let's just keep our eyes on what's happening with reparations. I went down the reparations rabbit hole, but wanted to catch up on what was happening in the news, because between the end of August and the first part of September, there was nothing about reparations on the radar. So the fact that we got some traction and some movement, y'all, I'm glad to see it, because we are not going to be quiet. So I've talked a lot. I'm gonna let you jump in, Clubhouse family. I'm coming over to the space in just a few minutes at the half hour mark, 7 minutes. But before we dive into Clubhouse, let's dive into some of the bills. You know, we have made it to over 1,000 bills. We have been doing keeping up with Congress since January, and we have made it to over 1,000 bills over in the House. So my goal is by the week prior to Thanksgiving, our last day for Keeping Up with Congress will be November the 18th. I'm hopeful to get us at above 1,000 bills. So again, the reason why we do this, the reason why we come to the space for 30 minutes, Monday through Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern to 5:30, is to make sure that when we get to Washington, we're ready to negotiate. We already know the players, these legislators, and we know the game. Many of them have a sweet spot. We need to know where that is. I tell you, there's certain bills that we see. It's abortion, veterans, immigration, national security, gun legislation, and streamlining of processes, y'all. We got to pay attention. Those are the key areas where we see a lot of traction, right? But I tell you, there's 4 areas where we're going to have to get it right as a nation. 4 areas when it comes to food, air, water, and land. We won't compromise on that. Food, air, water, and land. We got to get that right. So Senate Bill 726, I probably won't bring you but about just a little handful of them. But Senate Bill 726 is the ELCO National Cemetery Act. This is introduced by Senator Cortez Masto, Catherine Cortez Masto. We've seen a lot of bills from her. She's a Democrat out of Nevada. It says this bill transfers jurisdiction over certain public land in Elko, Nevada, from the Department of the Interior to the Department of Veteran Affairs for use as a national cemetery. I just saw an article where I'm gonna have to find it, where they're finding more of where we were buried and buildings being on top of us. So when I see bills that, creating a national cemetery when we got buildings buried on top of our ancestors, keeping up with Congress, y'all. Keeping up with Congress. Senate Bill 726. Senate Bill 727, y'all. I told you I haven't had lunch. It's looking at me. 727. Senate Bill 727 is the CHAMP VA, CHAMP VA, Children's Care Protection Act of 2021. This is introduced by Sherrod Brown, Democrat out of Ohio. It says this bill provides that a child shall be eligible for Medicare under the Civilian Health and Medical Program of the Department of Veteran Affairs until the child's 26th birthday, regardless of the child's marital status. So this is keeping children in the the Civilian Health and Medical Program until they are 26 years old. This is Senator Sherrod Brown, and that's regardless of their marital status. Interesting. Senate Bill 727. Senate Bill 728. Senate Bill 728 is the COVID Hate Crimes Act. Now, I don't understand how COVID and hate crimes go together, but this is Senator Hirono. This is Mazie Hirono, Democrat out of Hawaii. COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act. It says this bill requires a designated officer or employee of the Department of Justice to facilitate the expedited review of COVID-19 hate crimes and reports of COVID-19 hate crimes. Y'all, I didn't know there was COVID-19 hate crimes. Can y'all further explain that when I come over, please?
Yeah, when I get a chance, I want to speak on that.
Yes, please.
But yeah, that's a thing.
Yeah, I don't get it. And here it says it defines COVID-19 hate crimes as a violent crime that is motivated by two things. Number one, the actual or perceived characteristic, race, or ethnicity of any person. And two, the actual or perceived relationship to the spread of COVID-19 of any person because of that characteristic. It says the bill requires the DOJ to issue guidance for state and local law enforcement agencies on how to establish online hate crime reporting processes in multiple languages and how to expand culturally competent education campaigns. It says additionally, the DOJ and the Department of Health and Human Services must issue guidance on best practices for mitigating racially discriminatory language in describing the COVID-19 pandemic. Oh, so maybe that's it. And to let them, I'm sure you'll bring me up to speed. So maybe that's it because they're equating it to the Asian community. So we'll talk about that. It's going to get interesting. That's Senate Bill 728, introduced in the House over by Senator Hirono, Mazie Hirono, Democrat out of Hawaii. We got about 1 more minute. I'm going to do 2 more bills if I can. I want to get us to an even number, y'all. That's just how I operate. Senate Bill 729 is the Educational Equity Challenge Grant of 2021. This is Senator Warren, Elizabeth Warren. We know who she is, Democrat out of Massachusetts. It says this bill establishes a program through which the Department of Education must award grants to eligible entities, the state and local educational agencies, to address students' academic, social, emotional, mental, behavioral, and physical health needs related to the COVID-19 pandemic. So this is Elizabeth Warren, y'all, Educational Equity Challenge Grant. Some educational dollars related to COVID-19. I told you they're making it rain in Congress. Senate Bill 729. So just one more because we're at the half hour. Senate Bill 730. Senate Bill 730. It says, let the states cut tax act. So let the states cut taxes act. This is Senator Braun, Mike Braun, Republican out of Indiana. It says this bill removes a prohibition on states and territories using COVID-19 relief funding under the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 to offset a reduction in revenue resulting from a reduction in taxes or a delay in the imposition of a tax or tax increase. So this is Senator Mike Braun, Republican out of Indiana. So yeah, Senate Bill 730. So we are at the half hour. I am Tamara Johnson Shealey. This is Keeping Up with Congress. I will be back tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, because we will not, and I repeat, we will not get reparations without negotiations. We're going to have to know how to play the game when we get there. So we got to keep up with Congress. So we'll know who the players are, and we got to, again, know their sweet spots. So I'm passing the collection plate before I head out. YouTube family, please go to the website, make a contribution. Make a contribution. We got a race to the United States Senate to win. Clubhouse family, I'm coming. Have a good day, everybody. Thank you for tuning in for Keeping Up with Congress. I am Tamara Johnson Shealey, your candidate for the United States Senate. I'm a progressive Democrat that believes that reparations will make America great. It is time that we bridge the divide in this country. Please go to the website. That's tamaraforgeorgia.com. www.tamara, Georgia spelled out.com. Please join